Hello, hello! Welcome back to the FIDE Online Olympiad 2020. I'm Alessia Santeramo, and I'm here with Grandmaster Roland Pruijssers for the Division 4. I guess, Roland, the big question is, what is Online Olympiad? What is this event? I guess now we know exactly what it is about.
Yeah, well, we've been covering this event the past weekend as well. It was a full-time weekend for us, like with how much? Like 27 hours of coverage. So by now we've learned what it is, of course, and it's a truly worldwide event featuring 163 teams and over 1,500 players from around the world. Teams are split into 5 divisions according to strength and are further divided into pools within those divisions based on time zone and strengths. We'll give you a closer look later on what these divisions exactly are. And yeah, what is very exciting to me is the next part, and that's each team features 2 open boards, 2 women's boards, 1 junior male board, and 1 junior female board. And that means that it's not just the strongest players, yeah, in the country, more or less. It is also a depiction of the potential of the country himself in based on the youth. Okay, and yeah, what we're going to do is like teams will play in each pool a single round robin with, and they will play against their corresponding board. So the junior male board will play against the junior male board, and the junior female board will play against the junior female board, etc. Okay, and here we see also, of course, the teams in Division 4. Yeah, with 2 names that we've already seen before and that I wanted to actually give some more attention. And those are Myanmar and Lebanon. And I can't find them
Yes,
that
because
quickly, but
yes, these
yeah.
are the team that were already seeded in Division 4. For sure, we gotta add the 12 team that qualified from Division 5. So last weekend we discovered all the names, and as Roland said, actually Myanmar and Lebanon are still, you see here in the cards, they were fighting in base division, but they're still one of the favorites in
in
Division 4. So,
yeah.
Roland, why do you think they were playing then in Division 5?
Yeah, that was debate that the divisions are based on strength and on previous results. And in 2018, Myanmar and Lebanon did not perform that well, and therefore they started in the base division. And yeah, so but they did really, really well. They came up with a very strong lineup in the base division. We were of course, a part of that, how they cruised through the base division. And actually, when we look at the statistics and how the team compositions are, they are still one of the favorites in their respective pools. And actually, I think in the whole division, Myanmar and Lebanon we will see in Pool C, by the way. In Pool A, we have Myanmar as the big favorite. And yeah, it is, they are again one of the favorites to win.
Yeah. So here we have is Myanmar? No, not yet Myanmar. So, but we have already next to us the Pool A round one. As you can see, Bahrain will face Maldives. Oh, Maldives! I want to go there. So I know immediately who should I root for. So then we have Nepal against Tanzania, Kenya against actually also Kenya. I think that I know some players from Kenya, and maybe the junior male board. So let's see. Then if they are playing, I will root for sure also for them. Brunei, Kenya against Brunei, Thailand against Myanmar, and Chinese Taipei against Hong Kong. So Roland, I guess you're. I mean, they are more known countries, so but still we will need the help of the geographic
Oh,
master.
perhaps. I think most of these countries we already more or less know. But yeah, I guess one of the countries that might be very, very unknown is Brunei Darussalam. I think I gave you this question also during the previous weekend. So do you know where they are stated?
Yes, I know. So which one do you want to know now?
Brunei Darussalam. Very.
Brunei. Brunei. um, okay, you're the geographic master, so I like to explain everything.
Sure. Yeah, of course. So Brunei Darussalam is actually a country on the island of Borneo. Borneo is an island that is part of Indonesia, and Brunei Darussalam is a very small part of the Borneo island, which is actually a very huge island. And yeah, Brunei Darussalam, a very small part of that with not a lot of inhabitants. So it's great to see a country perform, yeah, participate in the Olympiad here. And yeah, it just shows what a worldwide game chess is in general and how many countries have an interest in this sport.
Yeah, and so Bahrain. What about Bahrain?
Yeah, that's are you talking to the geography master
Yes,
or the?
geography, geography.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was a joke, by the way. I'm a grandmaster, but I'm also a geography master. There you go. Okay, so Bahrain is an island state in Arabia. It is a small island with, if I'm not mistaken, 55 kilometers long and about 11 kilometers wide, something like that. It is not that big, but hey, it's a state and they are allowed to participate in the Olympiad. And I mean, it's once again very cool that they can actually that they want to participate in an Olympiad like this. So yeah, yeah. And other geography questions maybe later. I think it might be
Yeah.
a good time to start checking some of the games. Well, actually, in the beginning, the match that comes to mind the most is actually already the match between Myanmar and Thailand. Thailand is actually also one of the yeah, they also have a very good chance to qualify for the next division. And I should maybe mention what that means. It means that you have to be in the top three of the standings eventually.
Yeah.
And Thailand has a pretty good lineup, not as strong as Myanmar in my opinion, but they do have a very good chance to promote to the next division. So if it's possible, I would like to very much focus on that match.
Yes, we are. I'm trying to find the games.
Me too at the same
Yes.
time. Yeah.
So, Bank against Wins of H282.
Okay.
And here should be the first board. And here we see the name of the player. With the black pieces, with the white pieces, we have Tanandon from Thailand, and with the white pieces we have Win Jae Run, the international master from Myanmar.
Mhm.
So, um, yes, what about this position? Which happening was it?
It looks like an English opening,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be. Yeah, I let's see who's better in white. I think it's
Yeah,
fairly balanced. The white has a weakness on A3, while black has a weakness on B7.
yeah.
Yeah, and the opening was sort of an English, I guess.
Yeah, it was G3, Knight f3, G3, Bishop G2, and Castle. So a very flexible setup for White. We discussed also in the previous weekend where White can decide which pawn to push and how, for example, D3, D3, E4, or C4, D4. So or maybe also B3, Bishop B2 can be an idea. So it's really a flexible setup for White.
Yes, it is. And okay, then to the current position, I
Yes, we
suppose.
are.
Let's see what the potential plans are for both players. I like knight b4. It's a very the knight is standing very nicely on b4 with potential to go to d5 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the a3 pawn is now also loose. So I mean, I think black is doing absolutely fine. No weaknesses. The b7 pawn a little bit perhaps. But you can say also the same for white. The white also does not really have any weaknesses. The knight on a5 is looking a bit weird, and therefore knight c6 that has just been played is a pretty logical move to try and attack the a3 pawn and perhaps reroute it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. The knight on d5 looks extremely good there. So I think white would be a bit better actually. And that would be an upset because the black player from Myanmar has a lot more rating than his opponent. So
But
let's check
at
that.
least on chess.com. I mean, but we want to remind, I think we said like 50 times, I guess, if someone is following the full coverage, you should you should like start a countdown for all the time that we say this. At the end, you say us how many times we did. Maybe we beat the record of the last weekend. But this
Yeah.
is the first time, and we say that the rating of chess.com is not actually the official FIDE rating. So Roland is going always to give us update about actually the real,
Yes.
the official FIDE rating. So do you have an update, Roland?
Yes, I absolutely have. So Mr. Win has a rating of 2477, so a very strong international master. And Mr. Kolputanon has FIDE Master has a rating of 2190. So the
Hmm.
player is the clear favorite with about 300 rating points more than his opponent.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, this position looks better for white because both black and white has one weakness, the a3 pawn for white and the b7 pawn for black. But on the other hand, uh, white has an amazing knight on d5, so it's doing pretty good here.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to move to the second board of the match. That should be uh, Tupfan Kumnorka against Nayo Kiantun. Wow, I mean, I thought that this time would have been a bit better with names. Um, yeah, as I knew already some names, but actually still a struggle. So yeah, we are it's a struggle. But here I see an international master against actually a non-rated player is 1200 the rating. It means that it just started today to play online. Uh, but I think that the rating is by far higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me check those.
Sure.
Yeah, so yeah, Mr. Naokyai Tun, okay, I'm probably doing a worse job than you, has a rating of 2406, and his opponent has a rating of 1888. So also just a reminder, everybody. So yeah, big rating difference. The white player is clearly the favorite. We are looking at the second board of the open section, which means that this is the second board of yeah basically the second best player of the country. And yeah, so looking good for white, I would say. Pawn up.
Yes, I mean, am looking at this position and I see that white has quite a natural position, a safe pawn structure. Instead, black as a weird pawn structure, and also the knight on b8 has problem to is not playing yet. And the only stuff that white should take here is the battery bishop plus queen that now is not so strong anymore as black played e4. So that could be just some threat against the g2 pawn. But as I said, after e4, the battery, is not
Yeah,
doing too much there.
absolutely. The big problem in the position is actually the knight on b8, which has
Yeah.
trouble developing. And yeah, also indeed, like you said, the only trouble that white could have is with this battery, it seems. Yeah, just looking very, very good for white. An idea could be to put a knight on a5, trying to put some pressure on the b7 bishop. Perhaps some tricks. You could also try to maybe put some pressure on the a6 pawn. And after d5, would you play a move like knight b6 or would you play knight e5? Alicia, where would you take the knight?
No, 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 no. I mean, 95 could be trapped the knight there at one point. Maybe queen c8 with the threat of d6 looks risky. I think I would go to b6. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think the same. Well, actually, we're watching the international masters, so he knows what's going on, of course. After rook a7, yeah, the knight can always jump back to a4, where it's very safe. An extra idea could be to put the knight on d2 from to b3, and then perhaps to c5 or to a5, where it's putting some extra pressure on the queen side. Or maybe even double the rooks on the a file. This is white has a clear positional advantage here. What black has no activity in the position, and white has all the chances to put some more pressure on the queen side. So yeah, looking once again very good for Myanmar. Their two first boards are very, very strong compared to the other teams. It's the other boards, board 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are a tad less, and so that is probably on paper at least, of course, and that is probably where Thailand might have to strike to get a win in this match.
Okay, I moved to the board that I think should be the third board. Manunton against okay. But wait, the Myanmar name became more harder than before.
Yeah, it's
Sulwi Mei Su.
yeah, Miss May.
Yeah, Miss
Uh,
May.
Miss May, and May, right, from the Spider-Man Chronicles.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so 1987 rating has Miss May, and
For
she's
black, okay.
yeah, and she's playing against Manunton, and she has a rating of 1549. So this is board three, the first board of the women's section.
Okay. And let's shortly see the opening because I like always to show that the London system is so popular and this was another London system. And this is the current position where we see that there is, I think black is 2 pawns up, which is, a good advantage. Also, the pawn on c5 might be weak and might fall very soon. So the only risk that, I mean, I think might be also the rook endgame here. I mean, the queen endgame. The rook endgame should be completely winning for
Yeah, black just has
black.
way too many pawns here. It's
Yeah.
d5 pawn will be taken, and the rook ending should also be actually winning, in my opinion. I mean, it's two extra pawns. Okay, the rook is going to get active, but the black
Yeah.
also has time to get active as well. So yeah, and actually black also has the option not to go to that rook ending, for example, by taking just back with the c pawn on b5 instead of with the queen. So yeah, the black should be just totally
Yeah.
winning. So and that means that yeah, Myanmar is doing very, very well actually. So I said that maybe it's time for Thailand to strike on board 3 through 6, but on board 3 the rating difference is once again very much in favor of Myanmar. So
So let's
yeah,
try to move to the lower board, lowest board. Here should be the second women board. We have Miss Sulet Nadar against Miss Pornoma Promsirnidnimit.
yeah, pronouncing names is going to be a lot of fun in the upcoming weeks. But yeah. So we are. I think we are. Let's see. So we are. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh
and this
yeah,
position looks more stable actually. Do you have news about the ratings?
yeah, I do. So this is a fairly balanced rating composition. So the black player has 1559, and the white player has 1552. So equal chances on rating.
And seems like a balanced position. I prefer slightly more black due to the bishop and a bit a weaker pawn structure for white. But I think this is should be quite balanced as there are two rooks, one minor pieces, and so. But I prefer white. I would take black here.
Yeah, I would take black too. Yeah, the bishop. It's a fairly open position, so it should be better for black. The bishop because of the bishop. Now it's not that big of a deal because there are no weaknesses in the white position. It still takes time for black to try and create some.
Mm-hmm.
Idea would be
Yeah.
to push the queenside pawns, for example, to try and
Mm-hmm.
create some weakness. But still, white is extremely solid, and black's definitely a bit better, but nothing substantial yet, I would say.
Yeah, actually, I see a way where White could get maybe a good game. A very good is would be bringing a knight to d5, a stable knight to d5, maybe supported by the c4 pawn or the e4 pawn, would be quite strong, I think. No?
Yeah, that would be perfect. It's going to be a very long road for the knight though, and
Yeah.
yeah, a move like f5, for example, could already prevent such a composition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So bishop g7. So maybe it was better to retreat the bishop to g7 here.
Uh, let's see. Yeah. Putting the bishop on g7 would have been a good idea. Yeah, so that you can still play the move f5.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah. Let's
All
see.
right, let's go to the current position. Here a5 was played, a4. Yeah, I mean, does white have some idea that involved e4, maybe e4, f5, this break here, these breaks here?
Yeah, could very well be an idea there. I mean, black is also has absolutely no weakness, but I liked that white played the move a4 there to counter black's idea because now the knight has a perfect spot on c4 where
Yeah,
it's attacking black's weakness on b6, and yeah, it cannot be attacked by any piece, not even a rook at the moment. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I think white is actually a lot better now. I think the b6 pawn might already be doomed for disaster. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the only way to protect seems like rook b8, rook d6, and bishop d8, which looks quite passive.
hmm
Yeah, exactly what is happening now. I guess bishop d8 will be the next move. And yeah, but it looks, yeah, quite passive. Yeah, white can
yeah,
just bring the king and yeah, even to c6, I think.
even to d6, even yeah, to d7 and then knight e5 is also a very good option here.
Yeah,
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 but c6, yeah, bishop d8. I mean, I would have liked to see the rook on the seventh rank because then you have 95 ideas. But still, black is completely tied down, so white can now start pushing some pawns in the center, like she's doing. So yeah, this is looking once again very good for Myanmar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
going.
let's see the low. Okay, we have probably a result. A result. Oh, and this is a result, a great result for Thailand. This should be the junior male board, where I see a huge rating from the from Mr. Preen. I yeah, I don't read the surname. Lao Awira Baba. Yeah, I try to read. Yeah, I will read always.
It was a very good effort, I would say. They would commend you for it. But it's yeah. I mean, okay. Let me do the same then. Lau ha vi pap. So there you go.
Better, good.
Anyway, rating difference was about 70 rating points, but yeah, it's the first win for Thailand. They are taking the lead at so far, but we've seen a lot of good games for Myanmar on the other boards. And yeah, the last board is actually also a rating favor in rating favor for Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
uh, where the Thailand player has 500 rating points more than his opponent. So
Yeah,
they,
and
yeah.
they are in a night hand game where black is 3 pawns up. So I guess that this is completely winning for black.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Free pawns is way too much. And also, I like what black's doing with the white knight. It cannot go anywhere. So black can just start pushing the pawns
Yeah,
without having to worry of the knight. So
yeah.
this should be over soon. This should be, if I'm not mistaken, a win for
For the player of Thailand.
Yeah, for the player of Thailand,
So
exactly.
they
So yeah,
would go at 2-0, and as you predicted, the lowest board were strong for Thailand. So
yeah,
so they are 2-0. They will be soon at 2-0, which is good. Still, the other board are a bit better for Myanmar. Some clearly better. But we are not used to see Myanmar getting so challenged so much.
yeah, that's true. I think if they have, it seems to be now a 4-2 result is the way that it's going. And that would be one of the biggest losses so far. Like we've said, Myanmar started in the base division, which was the previous division, a lower division, and they qualified for the next one, which is Division 4. And but yeah, they are still the favorites, and actually in the base division, I think uh, their lowest result was a 5-1 win. So there you go.
Yeah.
This would be the biggest loss, the lowest result they've had so far, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. I guess we have also another result is a draw here, uh, which I'm quite. How could it happen? I mean, why
Oh,
did White offer a draw here?
well, they changed the rooks, and that is a big achievement, of course. The rook was very,
Yeah,
very dangerous in the position.
but still White is a clear pawn up here.
Uh, yeah, that's weird. Why pawn up? Wait, was this a repetition of moves, perhaps? No, it was not. Maybe because of the time. Maybe there was the time control is 15 minutes and 5 seconds increment per move. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe nerves, maybe rating difference.
Yeah, don't know.
But
Maybe they thought that the first three boards are clearly better, so they prefer to. I mean, it's still a weird. According to me, it's a weird decision because here White is not risking too much with the king on e4. I mean, worst case, White can just move the knight and is not really risking.
yeah,
Uh,
a lot of possibilities to break through here. One idea is h4, h5, and then start moving your f pawn.
yeah,
Another idea is to reroute the knight, like you said, with knight e3, knight d5, perhaps, or knight g4, knight f6, trying to create some weaknesses. You have a lot to play for still.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Actually, I really like the knight on c4 because it's protecting the pawn, and I like your idea h4, h5, and f5. Seems
but
very good. I guess
there
that after h4, black has to play h5, and then actually the h4 pawn could be a target.
yeah, so actually the plan that I was thinking of afterwards is maybe to reroute the king towards the b5 square and try to make use of the weak b6 pawn at some point. But yeah, yeah, weird that this was a draw. White was a pawn up and has more space, has a clear advantage. It would be safe to play this for a win, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but she must have her reasons, and
Yes.
I guess we should move on.
Yes, sure. Okay, we have a result and second board. White, the player from Myanmar won. So Myanmar is 1.5. But let's move to board one. And here we have a fight between a FIDE master with white pieces against the international master for Myanmar. And the position changed quite a lot, but there is one piece that was exactly the same as last time. The knight on d5 string there is still very strong, powerful, and limiting a lot of the black play because it's occupying a lot of critical square. It's controlling a
Yeah,
lot of critical square.
true. And black is actually a pawn up at this moment. The a3 pawn has fallen. So yeah, black. But I really liked White's position at the moment. The extra pawn on b7 or e5 are nicely controlled by the white pieces. So yeah, it's not clear to me how black can make use of the extra pawn. And white optically has a very nice position, of course, with the knights on d5 and e4. This is looking pretty good for white. I'm wondering what if this will be a decisive result for white, and also take a look at the time. The time is clearly in favor of white here. Yeah, this is looking like a very intense game. This could be the decisive game of the match, actually.
Yeah, yeah, and might be a win for Thailand, which is incredible. I mean, for me, then is really an incredible. We chose to take the draw in board 4, but we have that result already. So the player with the white pieces, Mr. Tanadon Kulpluet, is really playing for a win, for his win, but also for the win of his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Knight of six. Knight of six. Doesn't
Oh,
that work? Doesn't that work? No, but then take. Yeah, it
but
should
an
work.
exchange, no?
Or rook takes b7. Yeah. Is it an exchange? No, I think. Well, it looks very, very tempting. At least, I think he's gonna go for it. I think he should go for it. It looks very, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
go
think
for it.
White will win 2 pawns if with all the exchanges. Yeah, it's hard to calculate, of course. After knight of six, black can play king g7 when both queens are attacked, and then after both queens are taken off the board, I think white should. What? Ah,
Yeah.
this is also good. No, this is not good. What is this? So g takes, rook takes, f takes, rook takes a. No, this is the wrong one. Oh no, is this the right? Oh, I'm getting so confused right now.
Because there are two pieces hanging, so should still be
Yeah,
good.
knight takes
Ah,
e7, rook takes a7. Yeah, that's a winning pawn ending. Is it? It's not a winning pawn ending. Ah, so he's not going for the pawn ending. He's going for the pawn up in the ending. That's different. Okay. Sorry, I got so confused there. All this quick calculation stuff.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, white's a pawn up now, so all the exchanges really worked out in white's favor. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Wow, that was
absolutely.
intense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
Okay, yeah. So then the draw that we saw in the women's game, where Myanmar was a pawn up, that could have been a big mistake, because
Yeah,
if White wins this game, then that means that Thailand has a very, very good shot to win the match with 3.5, 2.5.
yeah, I agree. I
What
agree.
about that?
And I think white, yeah, c4, white is doing great. Great here, really great. Pawn is going. What do you think is the best way to go with the king? I mean, should white give up the f3 pawn?
Well, the d3 was the more dangerous thing. But okay, knight of six and rook d7 wins that pawn, so that's a
But
nice.
also c4 is falling at the end. c5, sorry,
Yeah, but that's okay because the e5 pawn I think will
is weak.
fall as
Yeah,
well. It's very, very weak. The king will come to d5 very soon.
yeah.
So this should be over. This should be 1-0 for the number 1 board of Thailand. Wow, that's a
Wow.
huge upset. That's a huge upset. There was a 300 rating difference.
No, that's really great because, I mean, it's not just winning with higher rated player, but it's also making the team win. So this is really Thailand is already, I would say, one step into next division because Myanmar is by far one of the strongest team in this pool A.
Yeah, it would be a huge upset at least. Yeah. Yeah, Thailand was one of the favorites as well, but not as big as Myanmar.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, their lineup, if you take a look at the lineup, then you will see that Myanmar is very, very well well ahead in their team composition.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, White's won 2 pawns. It's 2 pawns up. This should be a matter of technique. Whoa, wait. Rook takes f6. Bishop d4.
So must be king e5 and then check.
Yeah, king e5 is then
King d5 also
d5.
good.
Yeah, okay. So there are still some tricks in the position here. Why I
But
got a bit scared there was
yes,
because of
but
this.
I want to check shortly. So follow me with king f5 instead of king d5. I want to see if this endgame is how is this endgame, no? How
Yeah,
is this 3 against bishop? I
It might
mean,
still be winning for white. I don't know.
should be winning still.
Maybe no, but it's a lot harder. I think it actually should be a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the bishop is very, very strong. The pawns are not really coordinated at the moment, so it should be a draw. But
But
yeah,
still, it's very, very hard for
was
black to
I
protect it.
got scared for a little bit there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking that would be, yeah, it's so painful to blunder like that if that ever happens. So yeah,
Yeah. So this is the current position. We have still a rook and a bishop. Oh, I like it. This is the winning move. 95 next, and this is a GGGO for white. So really, congratulations to Mr. Tanadon for this important victory against the international master from Myanmar, Win So Tun. Yeah, really, congrats. Was really a nice victory. And this means that Thailand won the match. I guess three and a half, 2.5.
yeah, 3.5, 2.5. It seems to be that way. We are, of course, yet to go through all the results. We will keep you updated on that. And yeah, in the meantime, wow, I really did not expect this. And I think that the Ward 1 player did extremely well. It was a very nice game from the white side. And also, the time control was very important there. The white player was much more in control. Had always a little bit more time than his opponent. So yeah, well done.
Yeah, I mean, still is a FIDE master, so for sure he was an experienced player. But yeah, still the rating difference was huge, so still an unexpected result.
Yeah.
Okay, here is an easy ending for black. Managed to win. Let's try to follow this endgame. I think it's the first board of the match, Bahrain against Maldives.
Okay.
Yeah, so here, oh, we have just a draw of repetition. White was maybe a bit better, but might be just a draw this endgame.
Let me check. Yeah, this is the first board indeed. And that actually means that the Maldives have actually won their match. Yeah, they were 3-1 up. The scores have yet to be updated, but I have the most updated results in front of me. And with board 1 being a draw, the Maldives have won their match with at least 3.5 points versus 1.5. So yeah, congrats to them.
Okay, I think there are still two more game. I think this should be. I'm a bit confused about the time control because why does black have so many time? Maybe the game started just a bit later. But yeah, it seems that this game is not going to last too long. Yeah, this is part of the match. I think. Nepal against Tanzania. So yeah, that's this here. White is going to win, I guess, with a queen with a queen and.
I think that's not a bad statement to make.
Yeah.
There. I also think that White's going to win, and he won. And actually, she won.
Yes, she won. Is a women FM.
Yeah.
And I guess here we are with the last game of this round one. This time is the match between it's the China Derby, I would say, is Hong Kong against China Taiwan. Then I will ask to the FIDE master. No, not the FIDE master. The Geographic master, where Taiwan is inside China. So which part of China is. But first, let's discuss about this position where actually black is a piece up, but white has 3 pawns for that piece. I think actually black is still doing good because those pawns are not coordinated and are not dangerous. So,
yeah, at least for the moment. But one of the biggest things when you have compositions like this where you have a bishop against the pawns is the pawn on g7, it is very hard for white to make a passed pawn because of that pawn. And for example, if the pawn was somewhere else on the f file or on the c file, then white would have, yeah, better chances to get some activity going with the
Yeah.
but the
So
pawn on g7 is nicely covering all potential to create a passed pawn for white, and therefore I think that black is already winning in this position actually.
oh wow. So until he doesn't lose the g7 pawn.
Yeah, of course, black should be careful not to trade too many pawns off. For example, a minority attack would not be the best thing because that would mean exchanging of a lot of pawns. But for example, you can exchange the rooks, start getting your yeah, like this, and start getting your king more forward, and play yeah, try to tighten the queen side pawns, for example, to create weaknesses there. It's still not over, but I think it should be a technical win for black. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Do you have any information about the rating of the player and which board they are, and maybe also the score of the other board in this match?
Yeah, let me find all that information. Just
Sure,
one
sure.
second, please.
Oh,
Okay, so
wait, what happened here?
what?
So, okay, white is just pushing the pawns and is trying to
Yeah,
create some, I think something like h5, g4, g5 can actually be tricky. What I think is actually a disadvantage for black, an advantage for white, is that white has such an easy plan. So white
yeah,
just has to push his kingside pawn.
yeah. It's looking worse and worse. Usually, black already could have created weaknesses on the queen side, but it took too much time. She took a bit too much time, and now it seems that white is just pushing and taking control over the position. The black king is being pushed back. So yeah, it's now the tables have turned. I thought this it was I think a technical win for black, but she took too much time to bring the king in the action, and or to do some action at all. For example, on the queen side, pushing the pawns, trying to create some weaknesses would have been good. But yeah, now it's white in the driving seat. Absolutely.
Yeah, still I think that is. I'm trying to think a way to proceed for white, and still this is not so easy because pushing h6, I think is actually a mistake because not sure. After, for example, g take x6, g. Okay, let's follow the current game, but I'm I'm curious which breaks should white looking for.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know really what would work. I think there's not much more for white than a draw because once again there's a pawn on g7.
Yeah.
And if you play h6,
Well, but
then
now
that
a5.
will be shattered. a5, yeah, I'm not sure. a5, b5 doesn't work, it seems. So yeah, take bishop c5. Yeah, this is looking very, very dangerous for black. I'm not sure that black can cope here.
Yeah, because now there will be too many pass pawn. I mean,
Yeah,
the a6, and now I think h6 works because king g5.
yeah,
Yeah, a6, then h6, then king g5, f5, f6, and 3 pawn. I'm not sure that black will be able to deal with all of them.
no, it's not possible to deal with all of them. It should be. This is a win for white now. Yeah, black should not have allowed the pass pawn to be created on the queen side, and now the bishop has to do more than has to protect on more than one side, and that is usually a win. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, nicely done, nicely played by Zejun Lin. Let me check again. That is the second women's board actually, and Zejun Lin is the one with the higher rating. It is a 300 rating difference. He has 1677 rating, and Mrs. Chi Chen has a rating of 1353, or I should say Miss, not Mrs.
Okay, the current score is 4-1 for Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is already winning the match. So actually, yeah, it's just an extra individual point for Hong Kong that will probably win this match 5-1.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks definitely like that. So we do have all the scores updated now. Big upset, I believe. Kenya versus Brunei Darussalam. Brunei Darussalam is one of the also favorites to be qualified for the next division, but Kenya held them to a draw. So that is a very good result from Kenya.
Do you know the name of the players of Kenya? Because I know some of them.
I do,
Um,
yeah.
so I'm curious because they are actually they are working a lot on chess, and I guess they have really a chance to go to next division. Maybe they will take the place of Brunei.
Yeah, that would very well be possible. Yeah, there were some upsets. At yeah, the last boards especially. Yeah, Kenya board five had 200 and almost 300 rating less than Brunei's board five, but yeah, he managed to win anyway. So there you go, Kenya with a big upset in the board five.
And how
Yeah,
is the name of the player in board five?
Robert Mikligeo.
No, it's not the one that I know.
Well, we'll of course check Kenya in the future. They seem to be one of the contenders, maybe one of the dark horses to be placed as well for the next division. So, yeah, I guess we should take a look at the final results of this round one in Pool A of Division Four. So, yeah, the Maldives won 4.5 against Bahrain. It's kind of, I think that is kind of an upset. Bahrain did very well in the base division as well. They cruised more or less to qualification. Nepal versus Tanzania 4-2. Kenya, Brunei, as we discussed, 3-3. Biggest upset of this first round. Thailand beating favorites of this pool, Myanmar with 3.5, 2.5. And last but not least, Chinese Taipei losing to Hong Kong with 5-1. Already is such an exciting first round, don't you think, Alessio?
Yes, I think we had a lot of important pairings, and yeah, definitely. I think very interesting the draw against Kenya and Brunei, and the win of Thailand against Myanmar. So I guess there will be a fight between those four teams in order to qualify. I think they might be really fighting for the qualification, but I guess really it's going to be very exciting pool, because also Maldives beating Bahrain is good. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's yeah, because you want to go on a holiday there, yeah, at some point.
I know,
Yeah,
but also because Bahrain was third in the last
yeah,
was third after um, Myanmar and Brunei. So
yeah.
also this, but also yeah, also because I want to go to Olympiad.
No, there were big rating upsets in that match, so really well done by the Maldives here. All right, everybody, we are going on a small break, and after the break, we will be back, of course, with round two of this Pool A. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Yes. here we are. We are back. I'm always Alessa Santeramo, Women FIDE Master from Italy, and I'm here with the Dutch Grandmaster Roland Pruijssers. Are we ready for round two?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, we have once again an exciting match in round two, and that is Brunei Darussalam versus Thailand, two of the main contenders to qualify for the next round. I'm very excited for this one. I mean, in the last round, we also had an exciting match between Myanmar and Thailand with a big upset. So I'm really curious to see if Thailand can once again cause an upset in this round. What do you
Yes.
think, Alessia?
Yeah, I think actually Thailand is doing really great. I think that especially the last board um, are doing. I mean, they have really a high rating. So I think Thailand actually is the favorite now. Don't know. What do you think?
Actually, now that I look at the ratings, well, it's not so clear. On most boards, it seems that Thailand has the rating favorite. On some boards, it's very very close. So yeah, this is actually going to be a very a double-edged match. I think both teams have good chances here. So yeah, but we have, of course, the board one player from Thailand who just beat the international.
Master from Myanmar. So
So he is on fire, and yeah, I'm very curious to see if he is going to carry his team to another victory. Of course, we also have other games: Maldives versus Hong Kong, Myanmar versus Chinese Taipei, Tanzania versus Kenya, and Bahrain versus Nepal. Also exciting matches to follow, of course. I think we will focus on the Brunei Thailand match,
yes,
and it seems that they have started. So let's see.
yes. Let's see if we can find. Yes, here we are. Okay, I guess this should be. Yes, this one should be Diamond is the nickname. So this is the first board, I guess, of the match. Here we have with the white pieces Mr. Azahari Ali Din, and with the black pieces Mr. Tanadon Kulpruet. So,
Yeah,
do you have any news about ratings here?
yeah, absolutely. So that is board one. Mr. Kulputanon has a rating of 2119, the black player. And from Brunei, Azahari has a rating of 2059. And so that means that the Thailand player has a 100 and what is it? 31 rating advantage over his opponent. So yeah,
And it just won a game against an international master, so he's on fire. And we will see how this game is going. What about this opening? Which opening it is?
yeah.
Yeah, Erosolimo with g6, bishop take, d take, castle, bishop g7, d3, knight f6, knight bd2, and knight d7. I guess this was an important opening during the match Carson Caruana in London. We saw, I think, two games with this line, no? Probably not with knight bd2.
Yeah, absolutely. You're correct. The knight BD2 move has not been played in that match. And also, white at some point played the move H3. So those are two different in comparison to the match Carlsen versus Caruana.
Yeah.
Knight BD2, I guess, well, white is already showing it with with the idea to play knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe try to play bishop f4 and to create a nice domination over e5 square, which would be very important. Black wants to push the pawn to e5 at some point.
Yeah, mostly is this what Black is doing, and as we saw in the match, I guess sometimes the idea could be also to castle rook e1, to put even the knight on f1, to play f6. I mean, there are really many many ways to play for black and white in this position. I played this with the white pieces, so I know more or less what is the plan here. Mostly white tries to play h3, knight h2, and play for f4, especially if there is the pawn on e5. On the other end, black has the bishop pair, so if the position open up a lot, like f4, f5, the position could open up. Black has the bishop pair. So
Black has the bishop pair, so that's the difference in the. I think I'm gonna use this word again. I think the position is dynamically balanced. Like black has two bishops and white has two knights. Slightly different pawn structure. I think that the knight on c4, that construction is a bit unstable because black does have a chance to play b5 at some point. So I'm not sure how long that knight is ever going to stay on c4. I'm also not sure if this is theory. Like we said in the Caruana Carlsen match, it was usually a different plan. But with rook b1, I guess the plan is to go for a b4 idea, just to play c3 and b4 at some point, trying to create some weakness on that side.
yeah.
Actually, I discussed what the plans could be with one of my students, and c3 and b4 is a lot stronger if black already has played the move b6. Because the pawn on b6 could very well become a target if the b file opens up. But with the pawn still being on b7, it will always be defended by the bishop on c8, and then white has a lot more trouble to create some counterplay, to create dangerous play over the b file. So, yeah, I'm really a bit skeptical about this plan. It's a normal plan. I just think that there are some nuances that make this maybe not the right plan at this moment. Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe it works out for white. I like rook e8 in this position. If rook e8, if for example black would have played a move like e5, then black had to deal with a move like bishop e7. So yeah, very double-edged position. Once again, I think it's dynamically balanced. I am also a bit, yeah, I'm very much wondering what white's idea here is with c3 and b4. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe as you said, no, the idea with c3 and b4 can be played after the pawn is on b6, but white could play on both sides, could prepare the b4 break, but could also go on playing h3, maybe bringing in this knight to h2 or d2 or e1 with idea of knight c2, knight e3, and then going for f4.
Yeah, that's also a very good plan, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, this is to to go on before going on to the next game. The Dutch Grandmaster defined this at dynamical balance position, and we are going to move on the second board.
Yeah, let's see how that's going.
Yes, this should be the second board. Here we are with the white pieces. We have Mr. Tumfa Kumnorka, and with the white pieces, Mr. Tupfa Kunorka from Thailand, and with the black pieces, Mr. Shawal Sharikan from Brunei.
Oh, I think so this is actually a rating difference of about 100 in favor of Thailand. Kum Norcal has a rating of 1888, while black has a rating of 1793. So yeah, once again, the rating favorite is Thailand here.
Yeah,
It has not progressed very much actually. So it's a very slow King's Indian for black.
Yeah, that's true. This is this is clearly a King's Indian. But what seems like white did all natural move, developing moves. Instead, what about this h6, king h7 from black? I mean, isn't helping white to create Yes, maybe chances to break on the king side.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this started when White played the move Bishop G5 at some point, and that was a provocative move to try and get Black to play H6. Black played H6, and now it's becoming a target. For example, after H4 and G5, files could be opened, like you mentioned. So yeah, it's a little opening trap that I think Black followed for, fell for. That's not correct.
Yeah,
Fell for. Yeah,
felt for.
falled for. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think mostly no in the king's Indian is going the other way around. So it's black that is attacking on the king side, and white is will have has mostly more extra space on the queen side. Are we going to see something different in this position?
I think so, yeah. I like e5 a lot here. One of the problems in this position was the knight on d7, which is blocking the bishop on c8, and the reason why white can play g4. e5 making, so usually if black plays e5, white wants to reply with d5, but then black has knight c5, attacking both the g4 pawn and the e4 pawn. And that means that white has to play an ugly move like f3. And that is something that white does not want to play if possible. So I actually think that black is doing fine. It's looking very dangerous at the moment. If white can still play h4 and g5 or h4 and h5 and stuff like that, it could be very dangerous for black still. But I think that with the knight on c5 and f3 being played, it's already a lot less dangerous because if white's ever going to play g5, then the knight has a good square on h5. So yeah,
Yeah.
uh, we are running a bit ahead, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
let's move to the. Actually, we have d5. We have d5, so might be that we are going to have soon on board what we discussed, right now.
yeah,
But maybe it's time to move to the next board. Should be the women female board. Here we have a women FM with the white pieces from Brunei, Azahari Siti Nur Far. We don't know. I don't know how the name is going on, but I will call her Miss City. Learning the technique of Roland that just pick up the easier name, add the title Miss, and name it like
yeah.
that.
In the base division, there were two sisters, the sisters of Azahari participating. You had Fatima and you had Fatana. I'm very curious to see if both are still participating. Yeah, so we have now Fatima, yeah, women's FIDE master, and on board four you have Fatana, Azahari, and yeah, they're participating again. I guess they're two sisters. So
Yeah. So here we have Fatima, the Fatima game, and this was a Sicilian, yeah, an accelerate dragon. Let just show shortly the opening. And yeah, this is exactly the accelerated dragon. And here is the ending position, which actually looks. I mean, I see first of all some fact. The queen on h5 looks a bit out of it's I guess bad place there, because might be actually useful for white after, for example, long castle, g4 winning a tempo, and the knight on d4 is extremely strong, and black doesn't have anymore the strong bishop on g7. So I guess what went wrong here for black?
yeah, that was a classic opening trap because on move 9, black played the move queen b6, but that is nicely countered by white with the move knight f5, gaining the dark squared bishop on g7, which is the heart and soul of this accelerated dragon opening. So yeah, losing that bishop is disastrous for black, and yeah, black is struggling to defend all the black squares in the current position. And yeah, I think white is maybe already more or less winning in this position because of what you said, g4, h4, h5. Yeah, the queen is misplaced on h5, and yeah, this is looking very, very bad for black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we all want to pick white here because it's extremely easy to play. I mean, already knight c7 is winning an exchange. I don't even, I'm not even sure if this is needed. Or white can maybe just casually ignore it and just push the pawns and give mate to the king. What would you play here?
What I would play here, let me check. Well, knight c7 is of course an interesting move, yeah, to win the exchange. I think that's more than fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You could do long castle and try to mate in a fancy way, but why not just get an exchange, you know?
That's true.
So much easier.
That's true. It's very a practical way
I mean,
of doing it, and yeah, White is doing great here.
yeah,
So, okay, let's move to probably the second women board. Yes, as you said, with the black pieces, we have the sister, we have Fatana Adzrina, and with the white pieces, we have Miss Pornuma Promsiri from Thailand.
yeah. So yeah, the sisters being very strong women's board for Brunei Darussalam. Yeah, there's a rating difference once again. Fatana has a rating of 1898, and Por Numa has a rating of 1559. So yeah, almost a 150, 140 rating difference in favor of the Brunei player. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what about this position? It was, I mean, I'm looking from the opening, it was a Spanish. And if I see the ending position, doesn't look really like a Spanish, more like, I don't know, maybe a French even. No, not sure. But it looks as a weird current position. Yeah, at least I was surprised to see that was coming from the Spanish here. But what about this position? What do you think, Roland?
It's tough to say. I like black's pawn structure better at the moment, even though white has less pawn groups. That's because yeah, there are some weaknesses in white's position. For example, a minority attack with a5, a4 is an idea. But yeah, the position with the move h5 is becoming very concrete. And with knight e3, I think that black can win the e5 pawn now, isn't it? Ah, okay, but then the h5 pawn will fall as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe first h4, but if h4, then white can prevent winning the pawn, black from winning the pawn with knight gf5. Yeah, it's a complicated position. I think that black is better because white is not attacking any weaknesses of the black side. Well, knight takes d5 is an idea, but white is stuck defending the e5 pawn first at the moment. So I
Yeah.
think black is doing great. Oh, actually, with g6,
Yeah.
isn't the knight stuck?
Yeah, exactly. So knight g f5 is not working. So might be that yeah, that white is going to lose the e5 pawn.
Might very well be true, yeah, in that case. Then it seems that black is doing absolutely great in
Yeah. So like knight e2 and queen take e5. I mean, maybe after knight f4 there is a slight compensation. But yeah, and not even because knight f4 loses the c3 pawn. I think black is doing well here.
yeah, and that's what I meant with the weaknesses on the queen side. The c3 pawn could be attacked sometimes, as well as the b3 pawn with a minority attack at some point.
And guess
Yeah,
what? This happened, and here we have a new move d4 played for white.
yeah. White does have some compensation. The black pawn is not worth that much yet. I mean, you don't have the pawn on f7 doesn't do anything at the moment. It's currently being controlled by the white pieces. But yeah, still it's a pawn, and I think that black should be able to make use of that at some point. So well,
As you said, no, there are a lot of positions where one color could be a pawn up, but still is not cannot immediately be useful. I mean, it's not maybe a pass pawn, is behind, But I think what makes it an advantage is that every time that black is changing a piece, is more and more near to an endgame where is by far the favorite. So is this the what make it very good? And in this position, what about the bishop take h3?
Um, Bishop takes h3. Well, there is the option of knight c6 that you have to take care of.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not sure if that works. It seems, yeah, knight c6 is a big threat there. I don't think that works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knight g5, very logical move. The queen has to move, and then I'm sure black will play something like queen d6 to, or bishop d7 to try and prevent knight c6 from happening. So.
Or rook b6 maybe.
That is fancy. That could be a good move, yeah.
Because I would like to bring maybe the rook on the king side.
You want to do a rook switch? Yeah.
Yes. I in one of the other book that I read, I learned this way of bringing the rook to the other side. Actually, was the rook on a8 through the move a5, rook a6, and rook g6, and I like really a lot this technique of bringing rooks on the other side because it save a lot of tempo. And yeah, it could be extremely powerful to have an extra rook there attacking the king side.
Could be. I do think that it's hard to get there because white does have e-file ideas, for example, rook a e1 and perhaps some sort of initiative. But on the other hand, if the black knight will come to e4, then yeah, the rook switch might very well be possible. It's an interesting idea to keep checking, I think. Yeah. If I were black, I would keep checking that idea. Yeah.
It might really be that black is doing it right now.
Yeah. Do you think? Oh, it would be nice if you did.
Yeah, because bishop d7 looks like. But wait, I mean, in this position, at move 24, instead of bishop d7, what about bishop take h3 now?
Yeah, I was thinking to counter that with knight c6.
Again, knight c6. Yeah, that's true. So that's why bishop d7 is needed. Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure if it's still interesting. I mean, you get a lot of initiative there. Yeah, I think it actually works. So after knight c6,
okay, let's watch that. Bishop take h6, knight c6.
You could play, instead of queen takes e3 there, I'm thinking that queen g3 might be very good.
Huh. Wow.
After knight takes b8, rook takes e3. You have knight f3 on the next move. It's looking very, very nice for black once again.
Yeah, that's true. Because the queen has to stay on the second rank in order to defend the g2 pawn. And next move is going to be knight f3. For example, queen f2 loses, I guess, on the spot because knight f3. The only move for white is to take on f3 because king h1 is mate on h2. And so yeah, it's extremely bad. I think actually the best way is to go with the queen on d2. But still after knight f3, white has to give back the exchange. So black is doing great here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that a lot of plans could work. I like the slow approach as well. I mean, one of the things that could really go wrong in variations like this is it's very easy to miscalculate.
Yeah, that's true.
That you could miss. And with a pawn up, why take the risk of trying to calculate everything when it's so easy to slip up at some point. So I like bishop d7 with the idea of rook b6 and rook g6. Instead, I think that she's going for something extremely aggressive.
Yeah, we have basically the same idea. I would say a safer move order because the idea with knight c6 is not possible. But she took on h3. And now we have queen take h3, but I think this is really strong.
It looks strong, especially after queen h2, because now black is rook takes e3, but I was wondering what black has after king g1. How would you continue after that?
Yeah. That's interesting. Maybe queen g3 followed by h3 could be an idea.
And then white could play rook g1, I think. And I don't see any way to mate or to...
Okay, rook b6 then in this position after king g1, rook b6. I bring a new rook.
Okay, let's see. So king g1, rook b6. Okay, yeah, that looks dangerous. You do have... You could play something... I'm trying to find something for white here, but it's looking very dangerous as well.
Yeah,
Want to play...
clearly the plan is rook g6 and then knight e4 or knight f3. I mean, many checks are great in that position.
Yeah, you need to trade queens, and if that's not possible, then you're probably just yeah, a few minutes down from being lost.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think this looks really promising, but for sure, rook b6 is a silent move. There is nothing immediately after rook g1, but I think rook b6 yeah, is threatening
Yeah.
rook g6 and is simply very strong.
So yeah, nice sacrifice there with bishop takes h3 from
Yeah.
she's doing very well, and of course it worked already because in the game she won back the piece and a lot of pawns on the king side. So this is already winning for Fatana. Yeah, so Brunei doing well against Thailand as far as I can see. Shall we move on to the next board?
Yes, sure. Actually, I think we have some results, so I want just to have a look at them. This is the first board where the FIDE master with black pieces won. So his score is starting this division 4 with the best of the score, 2 out of 2, winning against an the international master from Myanmar, and now bringing home another great results, winning against the FIDE master from Brunei. So yeah, definitely a great start from Mr. Tanadon.
Yeah, carrying his team so far. That's the only result I see. I'm not...
Wow, also second board. No, we have also result on second board. Do you remember this King's Indian looking very weird? I think black lost a piece. We see the ending position. I mean, black just lost the piece on c5 because the pawn is pinned. So, yeah, it went really fast. 17 moves.
Oh boy, that you hate to see mistakes like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but this can be an interesting opening to suggest to our viewers, because this bishop g5 bishop e2 and bishop g5 looks interesting, because it's a provocative move, provoking h6, and then as we saw, this was a very fast win for white.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. Yeah.
So how is the current score, Roland?
As far as I can see, Thailand is doing very well. I think they already have 3 wins, but I'm not 100% sure. It still has to be updated. But board 1, board 2 is not yet there.
Yes, and board 5, here we have the second results. Board 5 is a very nice win for black in this. It was a close Sicilian the opening. Here we are, and with knight c3 here. And the current position, as we can see, there is a bishop on h3 and queen on f3, and there is definitely no way to save, to protect the mate on g2. So another victory for Taiwan, that is already at 3-0 against Brunei. Wow.
Yep. Thailand, cruising.
Yeah, I mean, Thailand, they had such important matches very early, round 1 and 2, and they already won against Myanmar, and now they seems like doing the same against Brunei.
Yeah, I think actually we should take a look at the game between Zazali Nur Zahira and Zarocha Chuemsaku. So let me check which board that is.
It should be the sixth board, the junior female board. And yeah, you're definitely right. And what about this position? White is a piece up in an endgame.
I'm gonna go on a limb here, but I think that white is winning. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're not risking anything to say that because white is one pawn and one piece, and also, I mean, there are already some mating threat against the king. I see g5 and rook take h7 would be mate. I mean, if would be white to move, would be mating too. g5 followed by rook take
Yeah,
h7.
exactly. So that means that Thailand, the women's FIDE master, Chuemsakul was the rating favorite as well, with about 190 rating difference. Her rating is 1694, while Zazali's rating is 1501. So, yeah, the rating favorites are proving their worth so far. But yeah, we do have board 3 and 4 where Brunei has the sisters Azahari playing, and they should be able to win their matches, and that would make the match very exciting again. Yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, we are currently 3-0, so actually, if this board uh, is winning, should be already clear the match. But yeah, still the sisters are doing good.
we have.
Here,
Okay, yeah, yeah, go.
here we have Fatima board. Yeah, Ronan, do you have the position? What do you think about it?
I have the position. Well, yeah, Brunei is doing very very well here. Rook up against one pawn. Yeah, that should be over. That should be winning for white. Yeah, but yeah, this should not be too much of a problem for board 3 of Brunei. I actually we have a huge development on board 4. Fatima with the black pieces. She is not doing so hot anymore. She was cruising. She was blowing open the white position, but suddenly it's an end game where she has 4 pawns versus a rook, and it's really not looking good for black. This might
Oh.
decisive game of the match.
I would like to see how it happened. So we were at move 29. Actually, no, we were at move 28. We were exactly here. Rook take a3, queen take h3, rook take h3. I mean, what happened here? Seems like so good
Well,
uh, for black. I think he lost the rook somehow.
I
King
think
g2. What do
yeah,
you think?
I think it's a mouse slip. I think it was a
Oh,
mouse slip. If you take a look at move 33, there was a move that is very hard to explain.
oh no, rook c4.
It
Okay, very hard. The rook are protecting each other.
it has to be a mouse slip. I mean, she has rook c2, she has rook g3. I'm absolutely sure that she did not mean to play rook c4 there. You also have rook g4, rook f3. Black is absolutely winning here, so I'm 100% sure that this is a mouse slip. Yeah, you really hate to see it. It hurts so much.
Yeah, really a pity. Yeah, really a pity. And here, actually, there are some pawns for the rook, but it is not enough, probably not enough compensation, as they are, um, yeah,
Well,
as they are still in at the seventh rank.
it still might not be over. Yeah, it maybe black has good chances to hold this to a draw. I think she wants some material back, and she is probably going to go after the a2 pawn. After which, it is kind of hard to win if black can stabilize the rest of the position as well. So she has a good chance to keep this to a draw still. But yeah, okay. I think actually that Brunei needed a win to tie the match to 3-3. So this was extremely, extremely unfortunate for Fatima. But well, you never know with knight tricks, with knight moves. White could maybe lose a rook as well in time trouble. We'll see.
Yeah, that's definitely true. When there is, I mean, there are position where there is always possible to swindle. And when there is a knight and two rooks, might be a lot of double attacks. So yes, you're right. This is still a game where I think actually that black chances are higher than white chances here.
Because of the night tricks, yeah.
Because of the knight tricks, and honestly I think that black, I mean from a practical point of view, black has enough compensation because one pawn is compensating, and also the fact that the a2 pawn might fall at basically any point. So then I think that really black has more chances due to the knight. Practical chances. I'm talking about practical chances here.
It's not over yet. That's true. Well, actually, but white is content with a draw, and that is because of the match situation. It's official that it is 3-0 so far for Thailand. So that draw, they win the match.
Yeah. So, and here we have a draw on board. The white player decided just to repeat moves, which is as you said, as very smart strategy, as they are already 3-0. So Thailand already won the match, and congratulations, because they already won against the first and the second team that advanced from base division to division 4. And they were Myanmar and Brunei, Darussalam. So Darussalam.
Two of the main contenders to win this pool. So Thailand beating those two teams, that is absolutely huge. They are really on a good road to qualify for the next division.
Yes, I definitely agree. So what about moving maybe to maybe moving to. Okay, let's have a look shortly to the last game of this match. That is because as expected, the board number 6, so the junior female board, was a victory for the girl from Thailand. That was a piece and a pawn up. And so the last game of this match is the game between Fatima with the white pieces against Manuton with the black pieces.
Yeah, I was a bit worried because the queen on g6 is pinned at the moment. But white has enough resources to deal with that. For example, rook d8. Now, I really hope that white does not take on g8 first and then play rook g8, because queen takes g8 is a check.
Oh, that's true.
So that is a potential trap in this position.
Oh, that's true. This would be very, very, as Roland would say, very, very unfortunate for for Fatima. No, she did it. No.
Oh boy. Oh, what a painful match is this. This is a painful match. I cannot take it. Yeah. It is. This hurts so much. Yeah. Blunders over and over, and Fatima, with such a lead, she was doing so well. But then this is why I stress the other point. Like, if you go for calculation, if you try to win quickly, then you have to know 100% sure that it works. You need to keep rechecking, and the easier way is just to play something very, very simple and to try and just make use of your extra material here. So I think maybe she got a little overconfident there and just missed that queen takes g8 was a check.
So. Was a check, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very pity for white. I mean, still white has maybe chances here if doesn't lose the material, like rook d3 maybe. Seems still dangerous because e5 is coming with many checks possibility, and the fact that is in black advantage is that the e pawn is a passed pawn, and
I think white has everything under control still. There are no breaks. The rooks and bishop takes Yeah, cover all the important squares there, so it should still be fine for white, but it's a long way from a victory now.
Yeah.
Maybe white is still winning though, or a lot better, because the two pawns might start running at some point. And if that happens, then black does not have any counterplay against it, because the e4 pawn and the h4 pawn are nicely covered. And in this position, actually, bishop takes h4 would have won a pawn. But yeah, queen
Yeah.
b5. Okay, those are the tricks that black needs to play for, indeed.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the win is still
Veto
far
is gone.
yeah.
And I mean how is this endgame? Is there a way for black to win here? Could bring the king maybe to f4 and try to put pressure with the queen.
King going to f4. I think that the can just move to b3, e3 every time. It should be a very hard win. Also, bishop
Well,
takes
queen
h2.
f1. Attention, please.
Uh,
There is a threat of if rook b3, queen f1 is
oh, like this. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you do need to be careful, but black. Oh, actually, what about queen f4? Yeah.
oh 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 yeah. There is no way to protect both pieces, so white is going to lose one extra piece, and this is one piece too much because black is not going anymore. He is not able anymore to protect. Yeah, to prevent this pawn to push forward, and this means that the game is over.
She
Will be over soon.
she maybe had a chance to try and get for a fortress with bishop g5 instead of rook a3 there, but yeah, she didn't go for that, and now it's just absolutely winning for black. So what's an unfortunate game for Fatima. I think she was doing so well in the previous weekend, but this is definitely a rough start for her. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, no stalemate ideas either. Oh wait, what about rook a5? Well, no, black still has the extra pawn, so
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, oh, okay, stalemate idea. What a nice, I mean, rook take was not stalemate. Why not? Sadly not. But was a nice trick. I mean, I thought the pawn was going on the other way, but yeah,
yeah.
sadly,
Oh my God, that was so unfortunate for.
yeah.
Oy, 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 oy. Yeah, but yeah, Thailand. Yeah, everybody's doing great.
Yes, they are doing really, really great. So let's see if we have already the results updated. I guess we are going to have it soon. But from what we understood, we know that definitely Thailand won the match. We also know that Hong Kong won the match against Maldives. And do you have other results, Roland? Uh,
Uh, yeah, I have. Let's see. No decisive results yet. But Chinese Taipei doing very, very well against Myanmar. The last three boards of Chinese Taipei have won their game, so they at least have 1 point against Myanmar. It's like, yeah, Myanmar is really, really struggling in this pool so far.
Yeah. So, Roland, you said Myanmar was going to be again the big favorite. So I ask you the question again. Do you think Myanmar is going to qualify for Division 3?
These results, it's getting harder and harder. So keep in mind, everyone, it is only three teams qualify for the next division, and so far, Thailand, I think Hong Kong as well, and yeah, are doing way better than Myanmar. Myanmar will actually be down to two losses, yeah, in the first two rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to remind everyone that we were very, very used to at the base division that 14 per pool were advancing to the next division. But actually now, the format is changing. It's just the first three teams, so everything is getting harder, and every loss is really can really be a huge problem. So Myanmar is in big trouble now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they still have got a really good lineup, and maybe in the next matches they can, of course, come back. It's still a long road. We still have 2 more days after this day of rounds. So, yeah, 9 rounds total. So they do have a lot of chances to come back. So, no man overboard yet, but yeah, they are of course making it difficult.
Yeah.
For,
And as you said, it's very good to remind everyone that for each pool there is a 9 round round robin. So we are going to have 3 rounds per day. Today we are going to have the first 3 rounds of pool A, B, C, D, and E. This time is 50 teams, so 5 pools. So much more games and much more results, much more fun. so yeah, in the next day we are going to have also the following rounds of this pool A. What is next? We are going to have the third round of pool A and already the first round of pool B. So I guess we might go in a break before the next round. We will be back updating you about all the results of round 2 and probably even the standings. So yeah, stay tuned and see you soon for pool A, round 3 and the round 1 of pool B. And here we are. We are back. I'm always the women half of Melissa Santeramo, and I'm always here with the Grandmaster Roland Pruijssers. So we have here the results of the round two. As we can see, there were a lot of draws. Tanzania against Kenya, Brunei against Nepal, Thailand won 5.5 against 5. Yes, such a high score, but actually we saw that the game were a real fight. And we have a draw between Myanmar and Chinese Taipei. So Myanmar, they are still there.
Yeah, they are still there. So they had a draw, so not two losses for them. So that means that they are, they have a better score, obviously. So yeah, it is. So far, if we take a look at the standings, then we can see that Hong Kong is in the lead, together with Thailand with Thailand with two victories, and otherwise Nepal with one win and one draw, and then Kenya with two draws, and so on. So yeah, Hong Kong and
Yes.
Thailand doing well, and I'm actually interested to see in Hong Kong because we have not covered any of their matches yet, I think. So it would be interesting to see if Hong Kong actually can also win against the rating favorite Myanmar. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that match will go. What do you
Yes.
think, Alessia?
Yes, I think can be interesting also because we see Myanmar needs to be back on a victory. We needs to win a match, so could be really interesting to follow this and to see if they will come back. And sadly, we don't have the scoreboard. The scoreboard is not yet updated, but our amazing staff is working to provide it as soon as possible. But yeah, we are going on with we are pool A round 3, and let's focus on Hong Kong Myanmar. I think is a great suggestion from you, Roland.
All right, so let's take a look. So Myanmar, the first two boards are absolutely the strongest in this pool, with two international masters, and yeah, they are playing. Let me check against 1700 player and a 1900 player. So they should both be very happy. They are the clear favorites of the two games, of course. And we have win from Myanmar with the black pieces versus Yu Dong from with the white pieces from
Hong
Hong Kong.
Kong.
So far a very solid opening from both.
Yes. How did this start? It is a Boko Indian with bishop b4, bishop d2, queen e7, g3, knight c6. So I guess it's something very, very, very standard, where the idea for black is to play d6 and d5, and the bishop on c8 will be an active piece after after the pawn structure changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Black wants to keep all the pawns on the dark squares, but on the other hand, white does have more space.
Yeah.
So, for example, after a move like d5 and e4, black does have let's say the good color bishop, but white has a lot of space in return. So, for example, an attack with b4, c5 at some point could prove very dangerous for black in the long run. So I think white has the advantage here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you said, b4 is on the board, and black is trying to to avoid this plan, playing a5 as well. What could be a plan for black in this position?
Yeah, one plan could be to focus a bit on the c5 point, so that it will be harder for white to push that pawn to c5.
So
then
a defensive plan in this.
Defensive plan, because you could also try and get f5 in, but I think that's very, very slow. You want to play knight, then you have to play knight e8 and f5, and even then it's not so clear what you're going to achieve, because if white takes on f5, then a nice square for the knights on e4 will be available. So yeah, it's that's why I like black. Optically, black is looking okay with nice dark squares, but I do think that white has has the better position here because of the space and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
easier plan, I would say.
Is a clear plan and all right.
For example,
Okay.
Queen
Hmm?
C3, Rook C1, for example, is a very nice idea.
Okay. And so let's move to a second board. The second board.
Yep, let's see. So yeah, second board, also big rating difference between Naoke Toon versus Lutyen Luke. Yeah, I'm
Lao.
I'm butchering the names, I know. Yeah, so the big rating favorite is an Naoke with a rating of 2406 versus Luke, who has a rating of 1944. So 500 rating difference once again.
Which is really a lot.
Mhm.
And guess which opening we had here?
Wow, that's a tough one. I'm guessing it's some English town. Not too sure. Yeah, it's London, of course.
Yes. You know, when you said it's some English town, I was confused. You meant English with C4? What?
Yeah,
So,
there isn't a Liverpool opening or something or a Manchester opening, but you do have a London opening. So
yeah.
yeah, I was thinking like, what is there? Is there like a Brighton opening or yeah, Manchester opening? No, there is not.
I
So
guess not. So but we have the London system, and this is a very, I think it's the main line actually of the, or the most played. If you go in the database, yeah, this exactly is one of the most played or move order in the London system. Where White is doing great is trying to grab in space on, yeah, to put a knight on e5, has more space, and yeah, it's not a big deal, but it's a pleasant position to play for White.
yeah, so one game that comes to mind is the game Magnus Carlsen versus Evgeny Tomaszewski. They played in, I think, Tata Steel at some point. I think a few years ago. I'm not too sure. It was a big tournament in any case. And Magnus went on to win there. The position is objectively a draw, but no, it's equal, of course, the game. If you
Yeah.
best moves, it's going to be a draw. Never mind. It's about equal, but Black has some chances to go wrong here, while White's play is, in my opinion, slightly more easy. So yeah, I've tried to play this with Black, but I always felt like White could create some problems for me. While it's very hard to create problems for White in this position. So I prefer White. I think.
Mm-hmm. And what are White's plan in this position?
Yeah, you could play short castle. You could maybe push the f5 pawn at some point to try and open the f file and create some initiative there. Another
Is
idea,
e4 also a possibility?
e4.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. It's a bit dangerous though because the bishop on b7 might then have some
Mm-hmm.
possibilities. So I don't think e4 is the most dangerous option here for black. So yeah, it's usually short castle, queen f3, knight f3, perhaps bishop h4, also a very kinky move, I would say. And yeah, you could really go wrong here with black.
Yeah. And you could go wrong with black. It's mostly because black has not a clear plan here, clear way out to go on.
Mhm. Well, one idea is to play knight e4 at some point. So I really like knight e7. The one problem, the most difficult piece for black to deal with is the bishop on d3. And yeah, that could create some big problems. For example, bishop takes h7, queen h5, rook f3, rook h3 ideas, and so on, moves like that. So with knight e4, those ideas are more or less out of the picture because you're blocking that bishop for indefinite time. So yeah, this is well played from Luke. Yeah, 97 is a good move.
Good. Nice 97. So, okay, we have also queen f3. So white is doing, yes, some normal moves in this position. Let's see. Is knight e4 not possible now? I guess because would lose a pawn.
Yeah, he would lose a pawn then. So queen f3, nice move. Now black once again has trouble finding the right plan. It's knight f5 is an idea, but after bishop f2, then probably g4 is uh, is very tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is why I prefer white because it seems it's very straightforward play.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I always struggle to find a way to play this position with the black pieces. So I mostly don't like, and I try to avoid this main line, and I play some quicker moves. Try to play e5 as soon as possible.
Yeah. By the way, in the chat we've got some questions about the B pool. Yeah, the B pool I think will start, if I'm not mistaken, in an hour.
Now the pool B is actually already on, but for simplicity we are covering now just the pool A round 3, but we will give you all the results about the pool B as well. And yeah, probably we will go on in the afternoon to see how is the pool B going.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Pool B starting, but we're going to focus on Pool A for now. We'll cover Pool B later, like you said.
Yes,
All right.
but we are going to update you about results, about scoreboard. We are going to follow each pool, so yeah, but now we have to focus on one and we are covering the pool A.
Yeah, that's the problem with having 5 pools at the same time. It's very hard to check everything while they're, of
Uh,
course.
yeah, exactly. But we are still going to update you about the results, what is going on, and we probably will follow. If there is a critical round, we are going to follow that for sure.
All right. I would say that we should move on to board 3 of this match, perhaps.
Yes.
Uh,
And we should have here the first women board is Jinxing with the white pieces against Su Louis Mei Su, Miss May, as you said, with the black pieces. Uh, this position was a Queen's Gambit declined. This was the opening, guys, and this is the current position. What do you think, Roland? Is is black doing well, or I'm confused?
Sure. So c takes d4 is a big threat, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think white has some ways to deal with that. Knight f3 is looking good with the potential to play e5, for example. And I was also considering maybe a move like knight d5 to try and open the e file and try to create something there. I'm not sure that
Instead of knight f3, you mean?
instead of knight f3, yeah, to go for the active approach to try.
Mm-hmm.
Knight f3, I'm not too sure that's the greatest move, but I think white is still fine. Even after c takes d4, knight takes d4, the e4 pawn is well protected, so I don't think white has a lot of problems there.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, which color would you prefer, Alicia?
I mean, mostly here, I would like, honestly, I would like black here. Because I'm very, very happy mostly, yeah, when there could be. I mean, if the pawn would be on d4, maybe it would be a bit different. But the pawn on e4 is black can control the e5 square stable, could be a target for the future.
Yeah, and yeah, you know what to say about isolated pawns. It's not necessarily the isolated pawn that's the weakness, but the square in front of it. So yeah, black has a way to maybe get a knight on e5, but the one problem in black's position is actually the knight on d6. It has no potential there. It cannot move to any square, and yeah, it could be a liability perhaps at some point for black.
Maybe something like a6, b5, and knight c4. Also, maybe bishop b7 could be a way to try to find a square for that.
Yeah,
For that.
maybe f6 and knight f7 is also an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Get the knight to a slightly better square. For now, it's okay on d6, but I'm wondering about the future.
Yeah. And
So
knight d5 is on the board, clearly attacking the queen. Where is the queen going? To h5, threatening mate? Not really mate, but a nice check there.
yeah, perhaps queen e5, queen h4, queen d8. I think the problem with queen e5 and queen h4 is that white has knight f3. Um, and that's, I'm not sure if that does a lot for black if you try to go for that. So, yeah, I like that Miss May is going for queen d8 here.
Miss May.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, we will call her like that. I hope she's fine with that.
So let's see, rook a d1. Yeah, this is why I was thinking that white is not doing too badly here. Active rooks, the e4 pawn is nicely protected, and okay, black does have the square on e5, but after, for example, an idea with knight f5, and if the knight's getting exchanged on f5, then suddenly that square on e5 is not really a problem anymore. So yeah, I think white's doing fine. I'm not sure white's better, but I do think that it's dynamically balanced.
Yeah. So we should also have a count for how many times you
I say
use
that.
this. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the second women board. Here we have with the white pieces, Miss Tet Win, and with the black pieces Tae Yun Lin.
Mhm.
And what about this position?
Yeah, so this is board 4. Let me check the ratings real quick.
Sure.
So uh, Miss Win has, oh, wow, Miss Win, that's nice, has 1575 rating, while Miss June has a 1677 rating. So Miss June has the rating advantage here of about 100. So, and actually the joke that we've got Miss May and we've got Miss June. So that's a joke I actually said.
That will be a Miss July.
Yeah, now we need July. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can find one.
Yeah.
So that's a nice coincidence. Yeah. Okay. And actually we've got Jesse February. Ah,
Yeah, exactly. So we have Miss February. We have many Miss.
it's a future task of us to find all the other months.
Yes, sure. We are going to find it. And then we will do a special chess calendar. So, what about the position? Let's come back to chess. Oh! And we have a maiden board. We missed that. We didn't see that.
Right, you're right. Queen takes h2, and it's over. Yeah. So Miss June winning for the country of Hong Kong.
Yes, and against Miss Win, which is could be like a scary name. But yeah, Miss June was not intimidated by that and won in a comfortable way. Just 18 moves, a straight win.
Yeah, seems very straightforward as well. I was checking the game a bit, and I think the black played very well, not with not too much trouble. So yeah, so far, what is it? Hong Kong. Yeah, Myanmar is struggling so much in this pool already.
Incredible.
No.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. We thought Myanmar is probably the favorite here, but seems like it's not going to be so easy to qualify. Let's remind everyone that just the first 3 teams in for each pool will advance to Division 3. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy task here.
Okay, let's. Yeah, I guess we should check another board. We are here with James Kwong versus Mr. Saihan Tiha.
Yes.
Tiha Saihan. Yeah, okay. And yeah, the rating difference is in favor of Myanmar this time. 1768 for Mr. Tiha and 1679 from Mr. Wing Ki.
And from the position, we definitely see that black is doing is not the rating, is not favorite in rating, but this position is really great for black. Is a queen up and is threatening mate on b2. Also the bishop on d3 is hanging. Yeah, black is winning here.
Yeah, definitely winning. I totally agree there. Nothing to add to that, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so yeah. I mean, some this. Oh, we need to check the opening. Actually, that's quite interesting. So, the opening was a dragon with 9 long castle, but and here black sacrificed a pawn on move the 11. White took that pawn, and it's very well known that in the dragon, grabbing that pawn is almost always fatal for
For
the white.
white.
Yeah, because there are so many tricks in the position, and as you can see in the game, black managed to overpower overpower white with tactics and
Yeah.
attacking possibilities through the open B file and C file. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to mention that it's a very common dragging trick that you see very often.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Taking the pawn is usually not what they advise.
Yes, and here on board we have the brilliant move bishop takes c3. That is actually the critical moment where, yeah, when black won the queen full with rook half c8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's time to move to the last board of this match. Should be the junior female board, and here we have with the white pieces, Mo2, and with the black pieces, Oinis Fang. Any news about ratings here?
Yeah, let me check that one. Yeah, so slight rating favorite for Hong Kong. Yeah, Miss Eunice has 1306 rating, while Miss Tu Ong has a rating of 1164. So yeah, 140 rating difference for Hong Kong, but on levels of 1200 or so, those ratings can be very deceiving because especially youngsters tend to grow their ratings very fast. So you never know where their actual strength is at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
case it seems like the rating is yeah, Eunice is just doing very well. Sometimes the official ratings are a worse indicator than their chess.com ratings. It seems that Eunice is doing very well.
Yes, and okay, they in the last moves there were we saw some checks here. You see some checks, and how is a way to going on for black because black is one pawn up, so might be a way to use the d4 pawn and try to push it as fast as possible, or to capture the f2 pawn. What do you think, Roland?
Well, you know what Justus Sairawan would say? He would say, just grab those pawns, baby. And afterwards, you just start pushing one of those pawns, and then you'll see how far those pawns are going to go. So I'm thinking just queen takes f2, then queen takes b2, and then see what's left on the board. And then, yeah, but yeah, because white is quite solid, especially the rook on d7 is covering the d pawn. So trying to push those pawns is kind of hard here.
But Roland, maybe here there is a concrete problem, no? Maybe queen e7 followed by queen d8.
Okay, by rook d8.
Yeah, sorry, rook d8.
Yeah, I see. That's a big problem indeed. Yeah, how do would you cover that? I mean, that's a difficult question. You could play queen f6 simply to try and exchange queens. But then it's nothing more than a draw after queen takes f6, g takes f6, rook takes d5. So
Yeah.
yeah, nice idea, queen e7. I did not see that. Yeah,
So maybe should black play something protective first? Maybe h6?
could very well be. Yeah, h6 to protect queen e7 ideas. But then after queen takes d5, it's isn't black just winning? Isn't white just winning those 2 pawns back?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe actually the right move was rook c8 there to just go for the mate on c1 instead of
Wow.
so just
Yes.
just a
I
mate.
think this is the move.
Yeah, I think that would have been a big problem for white.
Yeah, but white plays something different. White took on f2, which is very tempting. But black took on f2, and white went on with queen take d5.
Yeah. Let's see. Queen takes d5. Yeah, it's looking more and more like a draw to me. Queen takes b2 is winning a pawn still. White, if someone is better, then it's definitely black. But there is so there aren't a lot of ways to make this work for white. Queen takes d4. I think that's even a drawish rook ending. Although, yeah, black could pressure that rook ending still. So.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe rook takes b7 is the right way to deal with, or queen e5 is also a nice move actually to just target g7 and then saying like, okay, your rook is stuck. How are you ever going to make progress?
Yeah, yeah. What about queen? I like queen e5. Mm. And what about queen d8?
Queen d8. Let me see.
I mean, I think that black has at least the perpetual with queen c1, queen f4. Oh, queen f2.
Queen c1 and queen c7 check as well. So rook d8 would lose maybe material there, but queen f7 is really nice. Yeah, I like that move a lot. Then rook g8 most likely only move, and then rook takes b7. Yeah, this should absolutely be fine for white. White has so much activity. The rook is not going to be in the game for a long time.
Okay, what is also true is that black is going to play probably queen a1, check, and then taking the a4 pawn. So there is one more pawn, but yeah, should be very near to be
Yeah, it's very
to be a
hard.
draw.
It's very hard for black to even make progress if you win that pawn. Because yeah, it's with the queen on f7 and the rook so active, it's just very hard to make progress. But yeah, we'll see. I do think that black has absolutely no problems. I mean, there's no way to enter to make mating threats, for example. But yeah, I mean, black could pose some problems to white, so we'll see if white can deal with the slight problems that black could still create. For example, with the pass pawns there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think we have a result. We saw already the result in board 4, but we have a result in board 1 here. And yeah, black won. Black won here. Yeah, in board 1. Yeah, this is a double check. So check with the knight on e4 and check with the queen on f7.
Queen f2, queen takes d2 is made in a few moves. Yeah, nice position.
Yes. So this is a point for Myanmar, and instead board 4 was a point for Hong Kong. So they are currently 1-1. So let's go back to board 2. Here we are with this London system, and there is a knight on e4, but the bishop on c8 is still not really playing, and maybe white could start to push his pawn on the king side here.
Yeah, I think this bishop c8 move is an interesting one because I would say that it's quite easy to solve, but there's a knight on h4 which needs protection. So the queen cannot move, and e5 will be on the board in the next move, I think. That is interesting. That's an interesting idea. Unless white plays g4, but you don't want to play g4 in a hurry. You do want to know that is absolutely the right move here.
Yeah, I agree. G4 could be good, but you cannot pawns are never going back. So
Yeah,
when pushing a pawn, you gotta always be sure that it's the right move at the right time. And yeah, white decided not to go for g4 and went for knight f3. That is also a logical move. It just the queen goes back. Sorry, the knight goes back, so now the queen is a bit more free to move. And what about e5? How is white going to face it? Maybe with f5?
Yeah, I believe with f5, you could play queen h4, but then queens are getting traded. E takes f4. I'm not sure how good that is for white, but after I like knight f3 by the way, because after e5, f5, the only thing that what black can do is e takes d4, but then white will get a fantastic knight on d4 after knight takes d4. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
I think that white is doing well, not particularly. It's not a big advantage, I would say. Black is still extremely solid because also the square f6 can be uh, uh, can be occupied by the queen, for example. But I do think that white is in the driver's seat here with quite an advantage. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we have another result on board. Miss May, I think actually that's board, if I'm not mistaken, board three, lost her game against Crystal. Uh, and so that is a big, big upset, by the way. The rating difference was almost 400 points in favor of Myanmar, but
Yeah.
they unfortunately lost her game. And so, yeah, there were so many upsets. So upsets.
Incredible. And so we are back to the board 2. So which board is still playing? Maybe board 6. No, board 5 and 6 should be still playing. So here we have, this should be board 5. No, board 5 is... I'm confused.
Let's see. Let's see.
Wait, did we have the same opening?
James Kong, this is board five, indeed. Yeah, this is board five.
And isn't that the same opening? I was confused because I saw, wait, dragon? I mean, what happened?
Yeah, this is the dragon game that we were talking about. It was already winning for black, but white decided it's actually, yeah, I would have resigned more or less.
Yeah, white is playing on. I thought the game was already over because in my head, it was already over. So,
Yeah,
but actually they are still playing. So yeah, it was not double at the same position in two boards. Well, it's still the same game.
exactly. So yeah, this black doing, of course, very, very well. White putting up a fight. It's not over yet by a long shot, but it's black is of course in a winning position.
Yes, queen b3, king b1 on the move. Yeah, black is doing great. What is the easiest way to win here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I think after king b1, I would have suggested queen takes c3, but there's a little trick after that with rook d8. So yeah, I'm not sure how good that is. So what is the way to win? Well, I think just play this very solidly. Just
Maybe
play
king f7.
king f7, rook b7, moves like that. Just try to cover all your weaknesses first, and at some point play e5, f5, e4, and try to lock down your opponent and win. I think that's how it is. You could also play queen a2. I'm not 100% sure what it does, though. I think queen a2, bishop b3 would probably also be winning, maybe even tactically. I mean, yeah, that looks good enough, by the way. Queen a2 and bishop b3.
Yeah. All right, so let's move to board 6. Here we have another endgame. Yeah, the endgame that we were following where black is now 2 pawns up and the rook is not anymore passive on g8. So I guess yeah, there are some big improvement for black. Even if, yeah, and black is even threatening mate on e1. So attention, please.
Attention, please. Yes, this is now very, very good for black. With the rook being active, this should be a winning position, in my opinion. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because there are 2 extra pawns and the rook active.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's very dangerous now.
Yeah, even if the d pawn falls, I actually played an ending like this where I was a pawn down and I needed to defend this. And actually, that I prepared, I did a long preparation and prepared to go into an ending like this. And I felt that I should be able to defend it. So in this case, from the white side. But I realized that it was so hard to defend that end game that eventually some grandmasters also came along watching the game and actually told me, yeah, it should just be winning for the opponent more or less. So yeah, so yeah, I'm since then I'm very skeptical about positions like this where yeah, I think white should just be lost in this position simply, even if you get the deep pawn.
Yeah, because it's very hard to protect. Might be that the engineer is able to defend this position, but it's always very hard to deal with a pass pawn. And yeah, but here there are two pass pawns, so yeah,
Good.
it's really hard for white here this position. This means that yeah, another bad results for Myanmar that might lose with the white pieces here, and yeah, this could be a
Yeah,
problem for them.
yeah, absolutely. By the way, we also have the results for Pool B. Let's see if we maybe can show them to you. So that's, well, at least we can show an indication. We are following Pool B, who just started round one. So yeah, just to see, give a quick look on how that is going. And after that, we'll focus once again back to Pool A. I think that would be a good idea.
Yes, exactly. We will see at the end the results of Pool B, and I guess we might have them.
I think we have them. We have some scores for Pool B, and but okay, yeah,
Yes, we have it. We have here the pairings of Pool B round one.
yeah.
We
So
should have it.
some results already.
Yes, here we have the Pool B round one. Yes, we have also with the results, as you said. Here we have Kuwait playing against Namibia, Rwanda against Syria, Qatar against Cyprus, Uganda against Mozambique, and Malta against Pakistan. So Namibia is leading 4-1. Syria as well is leading 4-1. And I guess is a interesting result. At the moment, Qatar is leading against Cyprus.
Yeah,
2.5-2.5. Cyprus won the Pool C, I guess, if
yeah,
I'm not wrong, of last edition. So, Qatar is doing well.
yeah. Qatar doing well. I had Cyprus as one of the favorites actually for Pool B, but it seems that we have a dark horse in that pool, which is Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
That's already an upset. All right, of course, we're going back to that pool later. We are going to focus on pool A, of course, at this moment, but of course, we'll keep you updated on pool B afterwards.
Yes, and I want to say that Thailand already won the third round against Tanzania 5-0. So Thailand is doing great, just amazing job.
Yeah, they are, well, with these results, they are, of course, the favorite to win this pool now. So, yeah, doing great, doing absolutely fantastic. We have a few games left in the pool A. And let me check also to see if there are some results that we could show. So yeah, Thailand won, like you said. Let's see what else. Um, mm, no decisive results yet.
Yeah, no decides round yet. But Maldives and Kenya are half a point from winning the match because they are already 3-1. Maldives against Nepal and Kenya against Bahrain. So yeah,
Okay.
but not decisive results yet.
No, but Kenya doing once again very well against Bahrain. Bahrain also one of the qualifiers from the base division, also doing very well. But yeah, struggling in this pool so far. In Kenya being the dark horse in this pool A, in my opinion, so far at least.
Mm-hmm. We are going to see. Good luck to my Kenyan friends. So let's see. Let's see.
We still have a few games going on. Let's see. There's one queen ending. Actually, let's see. No, never mind. It's already over.
Okay, these games, I think the games are actually all over. Yeah, I this game is over. Black resigned, white resigned after Routier, that is clearly losing other material. So this means that we have another victory for Myanmar, and this means that the match Hong Kong Myanmar is very tight, and we are going to get an update on the pairings extremely soon. Before that, so I want to give everyone a bit of to be aware of the schedule of the day, what we are doing, and basically we are the fourth day of Division 4, and Division 4 is much bigger and a bit more complex also than base division that we were covering last weekend. As you can see here, these were the teams, the 30 teams of base division. 12 of them advanced to Division 4 and joined these other 38 teams already seated here in Division 4. So now there are 40 teams, 50 teams fighting. Every team, these teams are divided into 5 pools, 10 teams per pool, and the best 3 teams of each pool will advance to the next division. What we are doing today we are covering the first 3 rounds of each pool, pool A, B, C, D, and E. So the pool B is also taking place currently. They are also currently playing. So we have also here the pairings and the results of this pool B. Here we have already some victory. Namibia and Syria have won. Cyprus Qatar is currently 2.5, 2.5, so might be a comeback for Cyprus. That was the favorite in last division. So the results are work in progress. And I have a question for you, Roland. How do you think we saw that there were a lot of results that were unexpected. So how is for those countries, how accurate can rating be?
Well, there are a lot of unrated players. So unrated means that they still have to get a rating by playing in official tournaments. And yeah, with that, the rating could shoot up. The first rating could, for example, be 1900 or 2000. Maybe lower, of course, could also still be possible. So it's with unrated players, it's very hard to decide what's going on. And also with the youth players, rating is of course very, very difficult to see if that actually captures the potential of such of a young player, because they could have a lot more quality than their rating suggests, because the children learn so quickly, so much so quickly that that rating is not exactly accurate there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very accurate with the adults though. So if board 1 is like the big rating favorite, it should be it should be very accurate for their playing strength. But with the younger, with the especially board 5 and 6, that really is not, because those are the youth boards. Rating is more to be taken with a grain of salt there.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the young players have a rating that is not so accurate because they are improving so fast day by day. So the rating is not changing so fast as well. And here we have all the results of pool A. Sorry, this was the round 1, but we have also the results of round 3. And so we see that Nepal Maldives was end up in a 3-3, so is a draw. Instead, Kenya won the last game, so it's 4-2 against Bahrain. So how did you define Kenya, the black horse?
The dark horse.
The dark horse.
The big favorites were, I have to say, Myanmar, Brunei, Jerusalem, and Thailand, in my opinion. But Kenya doing strong, playing very well against the country so far. So they are in the top of the standings as well. So that's why I'm calling them the dark horse.
But
Yeah,
honestly, I'm getting a bit more confused by these results because we have a draw between Chinese Taipei and Brunei. And Hong Kong won against Myanmar. So
yeah,
also the Chinese teams are doing pretty good. They are all more or less there. So
it's such an upset. I was looking at the last game that still needed to be decided, and it was once again a loss for Myanmar. It's especially some of the top two boards are the strongest in this pool, but uh, Mr. Win has lost one of the games already, and now in this match, board two, Mr. Naoke has made a draw against the 1900 player. So they are not carrying the team like you could expect from this team. But yeah,
yes, and like they did in base division.
yeah, like they did in the base division, exactly. So yeah, huge upset. Myanmar, I think, only with 1 point out of six so far, and that as the rating favorites. It's wow. This is I really did not expect this. The Chinese teams and Kenya being the big surprises so far in this pool, and of course also Thailand beating the two rating favorites, Brunei and Myanmar, in the first two rounds. Yeah, we're waiting also for the updated standings. We're also waiting for the updated. No, the results we've already showed. So yeah, we're waiting for the standings, and after that we will go on a break. But also we will of course check what's happened in Pool B.
Yes, sure. We don't have yet the standings here, but we can certainly check the results of Pool B round one, and I want always to also to say you how will the schedule go on for the day, because it's going to be a long day for the host, but also uh, for the arbiters, because we are having 1 hour of break, but the arbiters are not going to have any break. In fact, this was the first round. In the next hour, we are going to have a small break, but the round two of the Pool B will go on. When we will come back, we will show the results, we will comment on that, and then we will go on for the round three of Pool B and round one of Pool C. Does it sound complicated? Then stay tuned and just follow day round by round. We will tell you every information, every result. So just stay tuned. And yeah, any comment about the results? Here we have all the results of Pool B. Any comments, Roland?
Yeah, a lot of comments actually, because Malta was one of the favorites in my opinion, but they made a draw against Pakistan, which is kind of an upset. Mozambique against Uganda, Mozambique at least winning, at least drawing that match is also quite interesting because Uganda also has a pretty strong lineup. And yeah, the other results, let me check them, are.
Yes,
Uh,
sorry. I was already going with the scoreboard. My bad. But now they are back. You were at Rwanda against Syria, I guess, was 4-1 for
yeah,
Syria.
Yeah, Syria actually one of the rating favorites in this pool. They have the highest average rating of them all. They winning against Rwanda is absolutely no surprise. But let's see, Namibia winning against Kuwait, also not really a surprise. That could have gone either way, actually. Yeah, both teams were well matched against each other. But the biggest surprise is actually Qatar beating Cyprus. I feel like there have been quite some upsets in that match. Yeah, there were two boards, three boards actually. The last three boards where Cyprus had a rating advantage, uh, but they only got 3.5 point. They only got 1.5 points in the last three boards.
Okay.
Nicely done by Qatar, providing the biggest upset in Pool B already. So many upsets today. This weekend is going to be a lot of fun, I feel like, Alyssa.
Yeah, I feel like as well. And I mean, okay, this is just the round one of Pool B. We are going to show the standings at when we are going to be back. But here we have the standings of Pool A. And Roland at the beginning said that the big favorite of this pool are going to be Myanmar, Brunei, and Thailand. It was right with Thailand, but I see Brunei and Myanmar in the second half of the scoreboard. Myanmar is really doing really a tough pairings. But still, I mean, it's just with 1 point at the eighth place. So, and the first three places are Thailand, Hong Kong, and Nepal, followed by Kenya also at 5. So, what do you think about those results?
Yeah, it's very, very surprising. Myanmar also very unfortunate, losing their match with Thailand 4-2 and then losing 2 games. Very, yeah, making a draw, of course, with 3-3. Yes, it's they have an unfortunate, really unfortunate day because also they had so many winning positions, but then mouse slips came and sudden in winning positions, missing a tactic. It was so painful to see from Myanmar. So yeah, actually they are playing very, very well. I do think that they're gonna bounce back against the other countries. So yeah, it's still a long weekend. They still have 6 rounds to go. So I still think that they've got a good shot to move on to the next division. But they do need to step it up on Saturday and Sunday, of course.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So we are going to see the pool A in the next days, as Roland said, tomorrow and after tomorrow. They will go on with tomorrow round from 4th to 6th, and after tomorrow with the last 3 rounds. But it's a long days, and we are going to have still the first 3 rounds of pool B, C, D, and E. So now we are going to have a short break. And we will be back for the first round of Pool C and the third round of Pool B. So yeah, we will be back in 1 hour. So guys, stay tuned. I guess you can always follow the games on chess.com. So stay tuned and see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, everybody.